Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show, presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. Right now, I have head cross-country coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it was a historic weekend for you. Starting out with the women first, you placed fifth. You're headlined by Natalie Barr, who took sixth overall and was first-team All-MEC, the first since 1988. Walk me through all of that.
Yeah, our highest team finish since 1993. We came in preseason ranked ninth. And I'll be honest, from top to bottom, this wasn't our best race on the women's side. But, you know, all of their hard work throughout the year, all their perseverance, and we made it happen. And going into this meet, fifth was our goal. You know, we were ninth last year. Like I said, we were preseason ranked ninth. And we had a girl coming off sickness, a girl that's been battling an injury for about a month now. And we had some girls that really came up big for us. And Natalie was a historic performance. That top 10 girls group, a little bit more, I would say a little bit more parity than the guys' side. The guys' top 10 was a lot of D&E in Charleston, mostly. On the women's side, we had a bunch of schools represented. And Natalie was able to come out in a sixth place finish. And I'm so proud of her because last year, you know, she was all region in every sport. But that first team was something that she hadn't accomplished yet in any sport. And I know it was something that was on her mind. And she put herself in the race from the start and picked off a few runners in the back half of the race. And, you know, just a bright career ahead. And she really got this thing started for us.
And then flipping over to the men's side, you took sixth as a team. Pat Riley headlined the men, being named MEC Freshman of the Year and All-MEC second team with a 13th place finish. And he was also the highest placing freshman. Talk about, you know, Pat's performance and just the team as a whole.
Yeah, our men saved their best race, you know, for this weekend. And again, we came in preseason ranked seventh, was able to get sixth. And, you know, honestly, like if more people knew about Point Park, they probably would have been ranked ahead of us. And Point Park had beat us all year. I mean, just a few weeks ago, they beat us by 30 points at Carnegie. Frostburg was 1-0 against us this year. And then the top five teams that beat us were all regionally ranked, and we were 2 points off West Liberty. And Pat's performance was historic. You know, for him to run on that brutal course the way that he did as a freshman and run the 26:01 time was incredible. Started out in 20th to 22nd. As the race kept going on, he kept picking off more and more people. And you know, he's running with some grown men up in the group that he was running with. And then, you know, also, which, you know, I didn't really realize until last night, you know, Nick Pitchford was the second highest placing freshman. Jackson Mount was the fourth highest placed freshman. So it says a lot about where we're going. And I think we put some teams on notice this weekend that it's a different group out there and then that we've arrived. And, you know, we had four freshmen in our top five, and then BJ Utt had another great performance. Isaac Slater in our sixth spot. Two seniors that have been here with me since it got started, and I'm so proud of them for sticking it through the good times and the bad times and just continuing to go out there and put their head down and race. And I know they were very proud of all those freshman guys, and they've been great leaders for them. And then switching back to the girls' side real quick, because I just want to give a shout-out to Jenna Barnett. It's been our two-girl all year. Wasn't the race that she wanted, but she did what we needed to do. Abby Dixon was battling some sickness. For her to move up into our third spot, Katie Hicks was in our fourth spot. She's been battling an injury, and their spread was about 10 points right through there, which was huge for us. I think that was the difference, truthfully, on a tough course. And then Savannah Cunningham in our five, she came up big when it mattered, raced 3 minutes faster than she did on that course last year. Hannah Rowan, a 400 girl, it's been our 5-6 girl all season. And if you would have told her she was going to run 7-minute pace on this conference course at the beginning of the year, she would have called you a liar. So, I mean, just really, really proud of all the girls and guys. They've bought in, and I don't think that I've ever brought a group to that meet that's been that prepared. And to go 500 technically in the league on the men's side and 6-4 on the women's side, I'll take it.
And it's kind of funny you mentioned the arriving part, because you said it last week that you know, this was the opportunity for you to show everyone that Global State has arrived. Do you feel that you accomplished that on both sides?
Absolutely. And like I said, on the women's side, not maybe having our best race and still being able to pull that off was huge. I mean, some teams behind us ran really, really, really well. And then on the men's side, I mean, that was just an incredible performance. And, you know, to be technically one runner off of maybe squeezing in the top five, Just from some of the comments I got from some of the other coaches, and all the talk about where we've came in 1 year. I think we did put some people on notice, and we're looking forward. We're not looking back anymore. We got one more to kind of go show it.
And you talk about one more. Regionals are coming up in 2 weeks. How do you get your team, just to kind of enjoy the success, but kind of come down from it, because there's still more to have success with?
Yeah, definitely. So we're definitely in a new territory. Usually we've only been taking a few girls and a few guys. And my first year we took the full men's team and one girl. So this will be a long time since we've had the full groups up there. And honestly, in the history, having both full teams up there at the regional. And it is hard because we accomplished a lot this weekend and we want to enjoy it, but the next 2 weeks we've really got to be sharp. And their hardest workout of the year will be tomorrow, and then it's going to be kind of just haze in the barn type deal until next weekend. But I know that this kind of got them itching for a little bit more. And our goal is top 15 in the region on both sides, which for the women has never been done since we've been in the NCAA. And for the men, since we've been in the technical Atlantic region, our highest finish is 17th, and that was out of 17 schools, and there'll probably be 28 schools there this weekend or next in 2 weeks. So, we're ready. We just got to keep sharpening a few things, get a few people healthy, but we're ready to cap off the season in a big way.
Well, Coach, congrats on the big weekend, and thank you for coming on today.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've head women's volleyball coach Kiara Perkins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, last week it was a tough week. You had two non-conference games, 2 conference games. You fell in all 4, but the key thing is that you played Wheeling on Saturday. One of the more premier teams in the league. You were able to stay with them, held a lead in 2 or 3 sets. What did you like out of your girls in that game?
Definitely was way more aggressive offensively during that. I mean, we had Rita Kelly hitting her highest hitting percentage in her career. Keely Chrisman, she had a pretty high hitting percentage as well. It was definitely one of our better games with our hitting percentage increasing. And, that's just part of the piece of everybody on the court doing more of their part. Biggest thing is just the inconsistency, I would say. And, I mean, that's been, the same thing the whole season so far.
And then coming in this week, you're finally back home for the first time in 2 weeks. You get D&E and Frostburg State, 2 of the teams that are also at the bottom of the league. What do you expect out of your girls this week? I mean, this is 2 very good opportunities to get some wins.
Yeah, we played D&E before, and it was a good tough match. The girls being able to bounce back the way that we did and end up coming out with a win. I will say that going into the games this week, one thing that we did better off this last week was coming out a little bit harder than we have previously. So if we come in with that same mentality and remember to just keep that full throttle the whole time, I think it's really going to end up with a good turnout for us. So.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
This fall, GoMart's got your chance to kick your tailgating game up a notch. Now through the end of October, enter GoMart's Get in the Game contest for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate package. Win a $200 GoMart gift card, tailgating supplies, a pop-up tent, a portable grill, and a cooler. It's everything you need to pregame for your favorite team. To be entered to win, head to your local GoMart and scan the QR code in-store. Visit the GoMart app or GoMart.com to learn more.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've head women's soccer coach J.R. Dodson. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Jagger. Always good to be here.
All right, Coach. Last week you went 1-1. Started out the week at West Virginia State, who's really been on a hot streak. Your thoughts on that game?
It was a good game. I think we just started off slow. We didn't get the full 90 minutes that we wanted. I thought we played a good second half. And kudos to State. State's a very good team.
Yep. And then moving on to the yesterday, you're at D&E. You're up 2-0 at halftime. End up winning 3-0. Meryl Smets, it looked like she finally, really got going. Scored 2 goals. Your thoughts on that win?
It's a very big win for us. It moves us up in that 4th place by ourselves. So, very good win. I think the girls knew the importance of the game. I thought the first half we really dominated. And I think we just kind of settled into the second half and just finished out the game.
And then Marcelli Stoller scored again against D&E. She's tied for the team lead in goals with 5. What's been so impressive about her this season?
She's just consistent. She's a consistent player. I think what's neat about our team is you've got a lot of players scoring now, and that's what we've never had at Glenville before. And now I think Smets is coming into her groove. So I think you got Valentina with 5. You got a freshman that's sitting on 4, I think, and we've got Marcelli at 5. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Smets now at 3 or 4.
At 3, I believe it is now.
So the more people you got scoring, the more dangerous you are. Yep. So I'm feeling pretty good as we're rolling into the end of the season. And
you mentioned the end of the season. We're getting there, about a week and a half left. You got UC and Washington Wesleyan, big games, especially when you look at the standings. Wesleyan's right behind you, a game behind. But first, looking at UC, it's a game earlier in the year. You scored a goal early. We're leading them. They scored 3 goals late. And then Wesleyan, they shut you out. How big are these games this week?
Big games. I mean, all the games are big now. But at the very beginning of the season, I told the girls, this is D2, D2 level soccer, and every game's important, right? So, but now they're really important. We've got 3 games left. We'd like to get all 3 of them. I think we can give Charleston everything they want. They're at the top of the league now. I think they've lost 1 or 2. They've lost 2.
Yeah, just 2, or actually just 1. They're 11-1 in the conference now.
All right, yeah. So I think the only game they've lost to is the state. So I think we're going to give them a battle, and we'll see how we roll out.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With you now, I've head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, man. Happy to be back for the first one of the year, and super excited. Just got a huge fantasy win last night. Went to bed 34 points down. CeeDee Lamb went off for 37. Huge win against Alex, our strength and conditioning coach, so pretty pumped about that.
Well, Coach, there's a lot to be pumped about, obviously for your fantasy team, but also the wrestling team as well. First, want to hit on just the offseason recruiting. You brought in 7 Division I transfers. Kind of walk me through that process of recruiting them, and then also making sure that they're fitting into the winning culture that you've been able to build so far.
Yeah, I think the start of it, I guess, from them getting here, the word and also, the recruiting process was hectic. I spent a lot of hours on my phone texting these guys, building relationships, and really that's what it is, right? You're a glorified salesman.
Yeah.
Right? You're selling your program, you're selling you, your coaching staff, your athletes, and then you're selling the direction that you want to take a championship program in. And a lot of these guys, I felt like, from the start, we're very in for that, and we're excited to, kind of change and get into somewhere where it's a little bit better environment for them.
Yeah.
It's all different. They all have different stories of why they're transferring, and but a lot of it comes down to that. They want to be successful, right? And they want to win championships. And I think we have a place here that we're really building where you can come and be an individual national champ, but also come to a place where you're wrestling for a team title. And that's different, right? Being on a team that is wrestling to win a national championship is a lot different than being on a team where it's just you and maybe one other guy that's doing pretty well. And so that room really pushes the guys. They knew, and the other thing too, we talk about to some of the freshmen and even the transfers that we try to get, is if we can get 1 or 2, then it starts kind of dominoing. And these kids see it the day of social media, and they're like, oh, this kid and this kid's going there. Maybe I should rethink, what that offer is. And that kind of happened with us in this class. We had 4 Division I kids sign within 2 weeks. And so it got really rolling there. And then, we had the 3 other kind of trickle down through the summer. But it ended in a really good place, and I think the guys have acclimated really well. We have been a team of transfers traditionally.
Yep.
So I don't think for our other guys it was something new, right? They're used to new faces coming in each year and kind of assimilating and, building that friendship and bond with new people. So I don't think it was anything for our team. I think they were accepted, right away, and it's been a really good transition for our returners, with our transfers, and our incoming freshmen as well. I think the team's in a really good place.
And you mentioned the selling. How's that new wrestling facility, helped in selling, not just recruiting, but also being able to tell the guys, hey, you come here and also get better every day in a facility that's all just for you?
Yeah, it was a big turning point for our program when we had our own space, right? Our program's really, one of the focal points on our program is getting individual workouts in with us coaches. And, when we just didn't have a mat room, you just can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't fight for space in the athletic center when you have, all basketballs, volleyballs, everyone going. So when we got our own space, it just kind of allowed our guys to have a place to go get extra workouts on their own, right? On top of getting those individuals in with us. And, we just kind of have our own thing out there, right? It's nice. And, but yeah, the individuals is the biggest part, right? We talk to our guys all the time that, the really good wrestlers, all of them can come in and work their butt off at a team practice, right? Like that's the least thing that is expected out of someone who wants to be great, is to show up to practice and give great attitude and great effort, right? Those individual sessions are where you're going to win a national title, where you're going to get on the All-American, status and on the podium. And so, yeah, that was a huge changing point. And, we got those new wall mats in there this year. And so, I call it the bells and whistles, the room's starting to get those. I think a lot of our guys could work out in a shed if it was, big enough and hot enough for them. And, but yeah, it's nice having these little things. I think this generation that's coming up through now that you're recruiting, they like the shiny things, right?
Yes,
and, yeah, so, we're getting more and more of those and having those, but also still understanding that our identity as a team is a very tough and gritty team. And, no matter how nice that room gets, we're in there to go to war every day and to focus on dominating our opponents. And that takes just a lot of hard work.
And, we mentioned the 7 Division I transfers, but you bring back 3 very key returners. Gavin Kiocho, the first ever 2-time All-American, national champ. Guy Leonardis was an All-American last year, and Isaiah Casto was a national qualifier. Expectations out of those guys?
Yeah, well, we have that one mixed, though. Casto was one away, and then Nick Johnson was the automatic qualifier. Yeah. But they're Casto is back, though, and super excited about him back, too. And then the other one that's back that will also be in our starting lineup somewhere is Hunter Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got 4th at regionals. He was a point here and there away from getting to the tournament. And I really believe, and we had that talk with him, if he'd have made that tournament with how his season was progressing, that he would have been on that podium. And the rankings actually, they're going to be out today at noon for the first set of NCAA rankings. I would say all 4 of those guys, Hunter, Gavin, Nick, and Guy, will all be in the top 12. I would say Hunter will be on that lower end, maybe 10 through 12. You got to look at Gavin probably being 1 or 2, depending on if the returning national champ is returning or not. Guy is moving up a weight class, so he's going to go down some just because he'll have to slot in behind the returning All-Americans. I would say you're looking at him to like a 6 to 10 range, and then kind of same for Nick Johnson, probably more like a 7 to 10 range. So we'll probably have 4 guys nationally ranked. That'll probably put us, 13th to 18th in the national rankings. Now, I believe this team's a lot better than that because you can't rank those Division I guys that came down because they don't have any competition against
And you got
them.
7 of them.
Yeah, and so we got a lot of studs that I think that second time around in the rankings, you're really going to see a little bit more of a taste of where this program's at, right? And so, but super exciting, right? You could have a guy who's ranked number 1 in the country, 3 other guys that, have been in your program for years that are now in the top 12 in the country. And so, that's pretty exciting with those returners that, they're there to go. And they help those freshmen probably more than anything, but also those transfers too on just, hey, you might have done this at a Division I program, but this is how we're going to do things here. We really haven't had too much. That's, I guess, one thing you always worry about is when you bring a lot of guys in from a Division I program, if you put a 1 in front of a D instead of a 2, it seems like everyone thinks it's a better program.
Yep.
Well, that's not true, right? And just because you're at a Division I program doesn't mean that your training or everything was better than what we have going on here. And so, yeah, we have our own way and our identity of what we do, and it's worked pretty well so far. And those returners are doing a good job of helping the freshmen, the transfers, and everyone else to just kind of understand, hey, this is what we do, and it wins, and this is what we're going to continue to do going forward. But yeah, I'm really proud of those 4 guys on just being leaders and their work ethic. They're 4 really good ones that we're excited to have here.
And you mixing in, those D1 transfers, the guys returning. You're picked preseason number 1 in the Super Region 3 coaches poll, and you'll be number 1 in the MSC preseason poll as well. Do you guys put that much stock into all that stuff, or is it just kind of like that's cool that we're getting the recognition, but it doesn't really matter?
We just had 6 a.m. sprint work this morning, and that was a topic that we talked about after. They had a really good session. And it's exciting because we're wrestling this weekend, and that comes out, and those things are cool, right? And they're awesome for social media and for recruiting and all that other stuff. But no wrestling match was won on paper, and we talk about that a lot, right? Is and a lot of them know that we're probably going to be ranked lower than what we think of ourselves, and that this is a great weekend to go prove yourself, right? Not on any piece of paper or anything else like that. Like, being number 1 in the region is awesome. And there's going to be a bunch of regional teams here that are going to have something to say about that. So you got to be ready on Saturday. But we're not trying to win just the region, right? We're trying to win the national title. And so, if that comes out and that's all you think about yourself, you're in for a rough season. And we got a good group. Like I said, I don't think, that those numbers are going to get to guys too much. And, hopefully when individual rankings come out that, guys don't wrestle people different because someone else somewhere out there puts a number beside a kid's name. I mean, that's all it is. We talked to him about, right? It's someone's opinion that we really don't care about putting a number beside your name. We have what we think our guys are worth in the room and what they think as teammates, and that should be what really matters, and just going out there and competing. And as long as we're competing, and that's our process, is trying to get better and compete every day and not focus on wins and losses, those rankings shouldn't matter anyways. Because if you lose one to someone that's ranked lower than you, so what, right? It's just part of that process to get our best wrestlers and them wrestling their best by March. And that's the goal of the program.
And then, with all that going on, do you feel that there's pressure, whether it's external, from all the preseason rankings, or just, internally, with, winning the conference title last year, getting all the national qualifiers, expectations rise. How do you feel that you guys handled, any pressure that could come with all that stuff?
I think the same thing. I think we do a lot of mental strength training with our guys and just focusing on that process of competing rather than it being results. For me, definitely not. I think it's just more exciting, right? This is what I came here to do, was to be in positions to win big time things, right? Conference, regional, nationals. And so, no, definitely excitement way more than I think pressure in any way. You just did it once, but all we did was win conference. And I mean, I get it, right? For a lot of people, that's awesome, and that would be, a shining beacon for their career. But like, that is so small on what we want to do as a program here. And so, no, we still got a lot just because we're number 1 in the region, we've never raised that trophy, right? We got to go do that. Yeah. So no, there's no pressure in that. It's time to get it done, right? And then it's on to the next one. And so you hopefully you compete really well, and mostly we just want our guys to be able to compete and be healthy, right? And that's it. And we'll kind of see where the chips fall. Wins and losses are kind of out of our control. And so if we're sitting here and that's all I worry about, I'm probably not going to enjoy my job too much, right? And they're probably not going to do that. And so, and I know for me, right, the administration behind me, that's not what they're looking at, right? They're looking at, how the process for these kids on and off the mat. And I think we're doing a really good job with that of having, really good wrestlers, but really great guys too, right? Who do a lot in the community here at Glenville and do a lot to help out, other teams, other athletes. And so, no pressure. I think just a lot more excitement heading into the year and now anticipation, because we're, 5-6 days away from finally getting to wrestle someone other than our teammates.
And you mentioned that the GSU invite is this weekend. I believe it's 13 teams are going to be here in Glenville.
Right.
Your expectations for that?
Well, it's to go in and dominate. You got Ashland's here, who's the returning regional champ. We got Finlay, who's coming in, a couple other good regional opponents, and then we have 4 of the 6 super regions represented here. So, a good conglomerate of different wrestlers. And so, it's going to be good looks for our guys, but to go out there and dominate and let it fly, right? Have fun, score points, make mistakes, not be afraid to make mistakes. That's more so probably, my pre-game talk or whatever it is for wrestling. It's a little different than basketball and everything, right? It is going to be that. Hey, go out there. You did all the hard work, right? Go out there and have fun and let it come to fruition. And so that's what we really want to see on that is again, not so much it'd be great to win the tournament. I think we should, right? But I just want to see really good competing. I want someone who's never watched wrestling before that comes and watches that on Saturday to look at our guys and be like, that's exciting, right? That's exciting to watch. And so if we have that, then we're doing the right thing, and our athletes are doing the right thing, and I think they will, right? Maybe the first match you'll have some nerves in, but that was what our inter squad was for, right? We had 2 inter squads every year, and that's just to get them out there in a simulated environment to kind of knock off the rust and knock off the nerves, so that way when they go into this, right, they should be that body and mind should already be, okay, we've done this a couple times. This is just another day. Let's go to work.
All right, Coach. It looks like it's going to be an exciting season. We appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.